Alright guys, so I figured that today, being a nice warm day, and it is Easter Sunday, so happy Easter out there to everybody who celebrates Easter. But today, I thought I'd get my Maruyama MM24 out of the box and start it up for the first time this year. And this is going to be the very first startup of this machine. I purchased it, I believe it was either at the beginning of this year. Yeah, it was the beginning of this year, and it was when they were just getting out the string trimmers, lawnmowers, all of the yard tools at Rona, and it was on clearance for a really good price, so I couldn't really pass it up. And I ended up buying the trimmer. This is all they had left. I ended up getting the trimmer, which is a split shaft unit with the power head, the line trimmer, and a hedge trimmer as well. I don't really have any hedges, but this is going to be good to have if I ever have to do a client who needs their hedges trimmed. Anyways, we'll get out some gas. We'll get this thing started. Alright, so before we go ahead and get this unit started, I thought that I would give you guys a close-up look at the engine. Interesting design. It's got the pull start mechanism with a spring assist in it. The choke is actually a little bit different from my other machine. It's at the back rather than on the top. And once again, it is made in Japan, and it does have the cross-cut ports on the back, and I believe a Walbro rotary style carburetor. And it's funny because this thing says made in Japan on this sticker, made in Japan on this sticker, made in Japan on that sticker, and then there's even a casting on the engine that says made in Japan as well. Anyways guys, enough of me talking. We'll get some fuel in this. I'll actually link up the trimmer attachment, and we'll put some fuel in this, and we'll see how it starts for the very first time. Alright, so we're going to take our attention here to the coupling part of the machine here. And on this part of the trimmer, there's just a little nipple that came with it, and there's some grease on there. So we'll take that off, and we'll hook up the shaft here. So what you have to do is you just loosen this part here, and there's a little tab here that you pull out. You want to take the shaft, insert it into the coupler, pull out on this tab, and then you're going to want to twist this part of the shaft until it links into the machine. And with that click, you're in, and you just tighten up this knob here. Alright, so we'll put some fuel in it. Something I don't like about the Maruyamas is they don't have a cap catch on there with like a rope or anything like that. So you could lose the cap, but I mean really, how far are you going to go with your fuel cap? So we're going to put some 32-to-1 premium fuel in here. We'll put the cap back on, and I'll put my fuel container back together here. So now we'll get it started. The primer bulb is located underneath the bottom of this shroud here, at the bottom of the carburetor. And I'm going to prime it a bunch of times because it is the very first startup and there was air in the system. We'll go ahead and we'll put the choke on, but you actually flip this one up to engage the choke. And we'll turn the switch here to the start position, and I'll put the trigger lock on. And I'll give it a pull. The very first time this thing's ever run. And now the choke is off, the trigger lock is off. We'll let it warm up for a bit. Alright, so I got the machine idling here. It's very quiet. I'm surprised. The engine is actually the same displacement as my other one, my other Maruyama. A couple different things here though. The shroud looks to be somewhat different, and the front part of the shroud at the bottom that covers the flywheel is also white. The one on my other machine is black. if we take a look here too, similar routing on the high tension lead here. It actually goes around the side of the shroud again, just like the other one. But the air filter housing here is completely different. It looks good. Here's the information for the emissions control. And as you can see here, the displacement is 23 cc's, which is just like my other Maruyama. It's kind of interesting because this is an MM24. The other one's an MT23L, I believe. And the name here would imply that it's a 24 cc, but it's actually in fact 23. And just like all the commercial units, 300 hours on this machine. Alright, so I'm just going to show you guys how easily this thing starts on a warm restart. The engine's only been idling. Keep in mind this is a brand new engine, and I do want to break it in properly, like I do with anything that I buy, all my machinery. I always break them in properly. So we'll put the switch back to start, and we'll give it a pull, and we'll see how easily it'll start back up after it's warmed up. Like nothing. Alright, so we just have a small piece of patch of grass here, and we'll see how it trims. I'm not really interested in going too hard on this machine yet, but we'll give it a little try here. That was literally effortless. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this is an easy load trimmer head. The line that I'm actually running is just what came with it from the factory, which is not very good. As anybody who buys any type of trimmer always knows, the line that they give you is complete garbage. This is not a twisted line. It's not a hexagonal shaped line. It's not a low noise line by any means. It's actually just standard round trimmer line. So it's not going to cut too good. But as you've seen there with that little patch of grass, it cut it quite effortlessly. So we'll actually find another piece here to cut. And I'm not really giving it very much throttle at all. I'm actually giving it quite minimal throttle, as I am breaking in the engine, and I do not want to run a brand new engine at a full load. So we'll find another piece, and here's the next clip. Alright, so now after showing you guys how this thing trims a little bit, as I do not really have much grass, it is the beginning of the season for me, and I don't want to run this thing too hard, I'm going to show you guys how to install the hedge trimmer attachment. It's fairly simple, and it's basically the same steps that we followed to actually install the trimmer head, but in reverse, if that makes sense. Alright, so first of all, we're going to want to loosen the knob here. And we're going to pull out on this tab, and the shaft is just going to pull right out. It's as simple as that. So we'll set this aside, and try not to get grease on yourself. I just did. But we're going to take our hedge trimmer, and this is just a plastic sheath that actually protects the blades. I'm not going to be using this, so I'm just going to be keeping that on there for now. And you're just going to take off the rubber cap that is actually on the end of the attachment here, and it's the same thing. You're just going to want to push it in there, pull out that, and it'll just slide right on. Then you tighten up your knob and you're ready to go. So I'm just going to show you guys how this thing runs, and I'm actually don't have any hedges to trim, so I'm not going to be using this, unfortunately, but I'll start it up. I notice the unit is quite actually a bit heavier with this on it, but it's not too bad. We'll give it a pull, and I'll just show you the blades oscillate. Alright, so I just thought I'd leave you guys with a couple more words. I really do like this machine so far. Although I haven't really used it, I can tell it's going to be great. Now, one thing I would like to mention is this machine has a split shaft unit, which makes the machine roughly half the size of a regular conventional grass trimmer, when you take the end of the shaft off, which is great because I drive an Audi A3 as my daily driver, and if I ever need to bring this to a friend's house, family members, etc., you know, to do their lawn, and I'm only just trimming and they have their own mower, I can bring this unit, split the shaft, and it can fit right in the back of my car, which makes it very handy. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This was another video by Pimpinpenz. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please be sure to like, and if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe so you can always stay up to date with my latest and greatest videos. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.